Alright, it's Mark, and hopefully my microphone works. Let's get rid of this welcome screen. Okay, it's time to start our live show. And let's see, so last week we were on, I think, the fourth or fifth episode of making our stop motion puppet, which is a clay character, a frog, and it's blue in color. So you guys probably, if you were here, you probably saw that. But this week we have to go over our 5-week challenges because today's the deadline. So we've got 2 entries, one from Zakira and one from Claymara. But first I want to talk a little bit about our website so everybody knows what's going on. If you guys might have noticed, let's do this. So the front page now doesn't look like our network page anymore. So we've changed that a bit. And so if you scroll down on our front page, you'll notice that it says here new site format. And the reason for this is because for 2 reasons. And the first reason is that the network page kind of loads a little bit slow. Excuse me. So our network page loads a little bit slow. So if you click it and you count the seconds, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Takes a while, and the reason for that is because this page has a lot of JavaScript, and there's not much I can do to speed this up. I've pretty much done everything I can, which includes taking the files that are on there and making sure they're compressed, things like that. So some technical things that you can do to kind of make it faster, but the front page now has world news because it's fast. So as soon as I click it, you can see it's pretty much instantly it'll pop up. The other thing is that I thought that people would like to go back to our old format and see news once more on our site. So we're going to start posting news stories here, and we've posted a video as our first news piece, which is the Nightmare Before Christmas really that great is the topic. And no, it's not, obviously I didn't make it myself, so I'm posting news from other sources, of course. And also the new Phil Tippett auction, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later. There's some amazing things in this auction, and it's all related to, well, some of it, not all of it, but some of it's related to the Empire Strikes Back Tauntaun scenes, which those to me that's like the pinnacle of stop motion in my view. And so we're going to look at some of the auction pieces, as well as some of Phil Tippett's handwritten notes that he made for those shots and whatnot later on. Some other news, which is really cool, is that if you recall, I guess it was maybe 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks, something like that, we reached 1 million views on our YouTube channel, and now we're past 5,000 subscribers already. So we're growing pretty quick at this point, and I'm just I want to just kind of say thanks for everybody that subscribed, and also who takes part in the comments and leaves feedback and just gets involved. It's really cool that so many people are actually still interested in stop motion as an art form. So that's really great news, I think. Just the fact that people are clicking on here and watching videos and learning, and that's the cool part about it. So let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of our news page, and then talk about our 5-week challenges. So Dylan is asking, is the puppet done? It's not done. So we're gonna work on our puppet next week. So the only reason that I'm not doing it this week is because of the 5-week challenges. So I will definitely work on that next week. We'll have our camera set up again. And I'm probably going to make some more blue clay before the show, just because we've already mixed up clay on one of the episodes where we were working on how you mix the colors and how to use a pasta roller machine. So I'm probably going to do that beforehand, because I'll probably need a lot of clay. I'm thinking that the clay that I have left is not enough. So and that's kind of a boring process, and I don't really want to make you guys go through that again. But anyways, so look for that next week. So this week we're going to go over the 2 submissions. Now Zakira and Claymara were the only 2 to post entries this time. Now the topic was fairy tale, and let me go back here. Okay, so who was the winner last time? I can't remember now. It's already been 5 weeks. I can't remember. But anyway, so the fairy tale, I think it was Janet's idea. I'm pretty sure it was. Oh, I remember. Nobody won last time because it was Pokemon, right? So nobody entered. I think that was when school started up for most people. And yeah, so I think Janet was the one we discussed it on our live show. That would be the topic. So, all right. So thank you, Janet, for the topic. And so let's see here. Now, the way this works is I'm gonna load these up, and we're gonna watch each one. And then after you guys have watched it, I'm going to I have a piece of paper here with Zakira and also Claymara on there. So we've got, looks like 11 viewers right now. So what we're going to do is after I play these once, the second time that we watch them, everybody can choose which one they like most. And so if you like, for example, Claymara's entry, then just write a comment in the little comment box next to our video, and I will make a tally. And so the person who has the most votes, they will get to choose the topic for the next 5-week challenge. So that's how that's going to work. And Dylan says he doesn't go to school. Are you homeschooled, Dylan? Are you going to a home? Not going to a homeschool, but are you actually homeschooled, or what's the story there? In some ways, I kind of wish I was homeschooled when I was growing up. Let's see here. So I'll load these two up. Okay. Okay, so you are homeschooled. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess there's positives and negatives to everything, but I think homeschooling, from what I understand, most people that do that come out smarter than if you go to an actual school. So I guess that's good. All right, now. Yes?
Papa said that I have to guard the door because the dogs are coming here and they're going to stay here for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And Papa says my duty is to guard the door.
Okay. That sounds good. Well, I'm doing the live show, okay?
When I get downstairs, I need to, whenever there's a stranger, I'm gonna run down here and tell you if there's a stranger here.
That's very smart. Okay. Well, let me do my live show now, okay?
Okay, I'll just leave this door a little bit.
You need to just close it, okay? Thank you. Alright, so my son was explaining how if he sees a stranger at the front door, he's going to let me know. So, alright, I need to close my door because I'm trying to keep the cat separated. Okay, come on, you. I'm doing that show, okay? All right. So Dylan was saying, yeah, he's homeschooled, which is kind of cool. So let's see. Now I'm going to. How do I do this? Second monitor only. Is this working? Seems as though my monitor, even though I'm selecting it, will the video show here? That's unusual. I don't know why YouTube doesn't show up. This doesn't show up when I try to load up just the second monitor. Alright, well, I guess I can do this instead. There we go. It's still not very nice. So our chat, I'm going to remove our chat temporarily while we do this, okay? Alright, so this is going to be a claymation fairy tale. This is Akira's entry, and it's called The Silver Leaf. So let's watch. like Kira's entry, and so that was pretty neat. And I guess so I guess the silver leaf is like a magical leaf, and it saved it saved the prince there. It's pretty interesting. So it was a very condensed fairy tale, obviously, but still, a minute and 41 seconds is pretty long for a stop motion short. So really good. And then the next one is from Claymara. Now, Claymara has a second YouTube channel, so if you guys are subscribed to her, C Flap Flap is her other channel, and she's always, entering in our stop motion 5-week challenges. And so she only has 47 subscribers. So if you guys are interested, I think she said she's going to be posting stop motion films on her C Flap Flap channel. And so this is her entry, and it's just called Bird Tail Stop Motion Animation. So let's watch this one here.
Ants, where can I buy feathers? By working hard and earning money. Worm, how do I earn money?
I am good in digging, so I dig holes.
Leaf creature, why do I need talons?
For protection.
Okay, so I was on mute. Okay, so we're gonna watch this one more time. So if you guys are just joining in, I apologize for being on mute. We're judging our 5-week entries, and so we're gonna watch this one more time. This is from Zakira, and if you like it, make sure to say so in the chat, and I will keep tally of everyone's votes, and the winner will get to choose the next 5-week challenge topic. So here we go. You know, it seems like the button on my microphone is not working properly. Maybe it's time to get that fixed. Sorry about that. But anyways, we're going to now watch Claymar's entry. And so after this, we're going to vote. So make sure to say who you like most in the chat, and that will be the winner. All right, let's go.
Ants, where can I buy feathers?
By working hard and earning money.
Worm, how do I earn money?
I am good in digging, so I dig holes.
Leaf creature, why do I need talons?
For protection.
All right, my microphone is definitely not on mute this time. Crazy microphone. All right. I guess I've had this microphone for how many years now? I guess probably something like 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, I think the button is getting worn out, unfortunately. So anyways, that was Claymar's. Now, so again, we've got, let's see. So Gabriel says, I vote for Magic Leaf. And yeah, Ron, I was definitely on mute there, unfortunately. So let's bring our chat back here so everybody can see what's going on. So 30 Chompy says, I like the story in the first one and the color palette of the second one. Yeah, so in Zakira's film, the baby grows up in her version. Yeah, they're both pretty good. I think, you know, Zakira definitely put a lot of work into making lots of. We got this here, which is pixelation, where she animates herself drawing, you know, writing in the book. Lots of sets and whatnot. And of course, Claymara has some really cool looking puppets as well. So they're both really good. So Ron says, this is a tough one, but I have to go with Magic Leaf. Okay. And that both are great. That's true. Yeah, the video here is on mute. I'm not. I'm just kind of letting it go so you guys can watch it as we vote. But we are done watching these with sound and full screen. So yeah. So Gabriel says palette is spot on. I would saturate it to make them brighter. And Shaky Cow says, it's tough for anything to go up against a nearly 2-minute short. Yeah, she put a lot of effort into telling the story. And it's it's obviously very compressed, you know. I think that her story, if it were maybe 10 minutes, would be like an adventure, you know. There's all kinds of monsters and scary characters. And Hoserloo says the deer was really great, or really cool. And Hoserloo says, I gotta go with Silverleaf though. I enjoyed both. Okay. And CB says the first one had some great, highly detailed puppets. Right, so we got CB says, I vote for Silverleaf. All right. And Janet also for Silverleaf. And Matt says both really good, but I have to go for Magic Leaf due to the brutal and scary scenes. All right. Yeah, things escalated pretty quick, didn't they? Getting eaten by some scary black unicorn-like horse creature with a long serpentine tail. And All right, and so so the next competition, Toasty is asking, when's the next competition? Well, I think Zakira, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Zakira and her fairy tale Silverleaf. No votes for Claymara. I'm gonna vote for Claymara. I'm gonna vote this time just because I think hers is really cool too. And let's see. So the next competition will be, well, it'll probably start as soon as Zakira, I believe, who will be the winner, unless anybody wants to, anybody else is going to vote, which actually, hopefully some of you do, but it'll probably start this week sometime. What I'll do is, after I find out what the next topic will be, I will post it in our forums. So on our website, I will announce the winner, of course, in the current thread. But you want to go to our forums here at the top. And it's pretty easy to find. It's there's only three options. You had the 5-week challenge entries, your films, and welcome, Matt. So you click on the 5-week challenge entries, and so I'll create a new topic here, whatever that might be, and then I'll actually put the date so everybody knows when we will review everything. And of course, it will be on a live show just like this one. So that's how it works. Let's see. So Gabriel says, I see graphic entertainment all the time. That river monster got me off guard. Yeah. So CB says, Claymar's was great as usual, but the sets in the Silverleaf were awesome. All right. Well, I think we're going to call it. I think Zakira is the winner. And because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, we got 6 votes for Zakira and 1 for Claymara. So I do want to thank both of you guys for, of course, you guys are always entering in our challenges. And it's really cool to see, Claymara started out, making really rudimentary, simple animations. And every time I see her work, she always improves, and that's really cool. I hope that everybody sticks with it, and hopefully we'll get some more entrants the next time. But there you have it. So really neat characters. This actually kind of reminds me of how Peter Lord and Nick Park, when they had their Morph character. This is almost like a cross between Morph and Gumby in a way. All right. So thanks very much, everybody, for entering. Congratulations to Zakira. And, okay. So, Toasty says, do you do live videos every Wednesday? Yep, every Wednesday, the same time. So 8 o'clock p.m. Central GMT -6. So if you're in the world and you're trying to figure things out, GMT -6 is the if you're, let's say, on the internet and you want to know what time it is somewhere else, sometimes it's easier to go by that with the world clock. So Ron says this one was very different for Claymara, a different style for her. Yeah, I noticed that too. It's like she's experimenting with more of a puppets that are there's a simple background. It's the first time I think I've ever seen her with a simple background like this. But it also is for her other channel, for her C-Flap Flap channel. And I think that might have something to do with it. I think she's kind of making things a certain way to work with the rest of her video formats. But I'm not really sure. Not 100% sure. She's actually got quite a bit of videos, and some of them, I know she's also got one where she is creating the puppets. So here's one where she's making a cheetah puppet, and she's got this Ikara stop motion animation as well. So she is posting some more stop motion things on here. So if you guys are interested in, sharing or watching her videos, what she shares, then check her out at C Flap Flap. I think she might have said something about that on her site as well, in the network. Let's see. At least I'm pretty sure. So, let's see. So Ron says, very simple and smooth. And Toasty is asking if we do videos only on Wednesdays or other days. There are times when I do sculpt. I'm sculpting sometimes and making videos that are live as I sculpt, just to kind of show people what I do who might be interested. But I don't do those very often. And sometimes they do fall on other days and other hours, just randomly. You know, I don't have like a schedule for those. Only because I don't, you know, sometimes I sculpt on certain days and sometimes I can't. So let's see here. Let's see. So she says, I'm also putting stop motion videos on my C Flap Flap channel. Please subscribe. So she's got a link on her network page. If you want to scroll down here, you can go to her channel right there. So just a little bit of a shout out to Claymara. Or C Flap Flap. Whichever one you want to choose. All right. So I will definitely work on that later on and tell Zykeira. And like I say, as soon as I find out, everybody, what the topic will be, I will post it on our site. So, okay. So now, the next topic is, I got some news. I got an email from the prop store. And this company is a reputable auction house, I guess. And what they do is they work with artists, like really famous artists, and they will post their props and their, you know, basically, you know, anything that is handmade and created from cinema, and they will offer them for auction. So we've got some pretty interesting things in here. Now let's see, I know there's a gallery. Here it is, preview gallery. So Phil Tippett is the person who is auctioning off some of his memorabilia, which is things that he has worked on with his own hands, essentially, over the years. And so he's offering some things that you might have seen, might not have seen, depends on your age. And I know some people are pretty young that visit, but these are some classic pictures from Dragon Slayer, and these are essentially, this is a picture collage of the large scale dragon, and why they use these is for reference to make a smaller stop motion puppet. And the stop motion puppet that they created, the dragon, was one of the first puppets that used go motion. So go motion is where you take rods and you hook them up to your stop motion puppet, and attached to the rods are small stepper motors. And as the animator animates the puppet, the movements are recorded by the stepper motors, and then the stepper motors work in sync with a camera. And as the camera takes a still image, the shutter is left open to allow light in through that lens for, let's say, 2 to 8 seconds. And the stepper motors then move the puppet where the animator moved it in space. And as the part moves, as the motor moves the parts, like the wings and the head, motion blur is captured on the film itself because the object is moving. So that's basically a description of how go motion works. And so here's some images from that. And these are never before seen images, and you can see this is a very large puppet used with the live actor who was riding on top of his head at one point in the movie, and so Phil Tippett used that as a reference. So there's actually quite a bit of things on here, but the thing that I want to actually work or focus on, let's see here. For some reason, you see how my mouse does that? It just decides to click on stuff without me clicking it, which is another bizarre thing about Windows 10, which hopefully Bill Gates will fix. I don't understand why that always happens. But the thing I want to focus on is on this. So I guess I could probably do this full screen because the Tauntaun, I believe, is in the center of the shot. But this is the opening sequence to Empire Strikes Back from, I guess, 1986. And in my mind, you know, these are some of the best stop motion shots ever created. You know, just the whole thing is really beautiful. I mean, everything looks realistic. The lighting on the shadows and everything is just, it works out amazing. So let's go back here. Here it is. So what I want you guys to look at is when this Tauntaun runs, and unfortunately the chat's covering it, so let's do this. And he stops. You'll notice that Luke kind of rears back a bit here. Kind of stops short. And so if you guys have ever studied these shots, a lot of it is kind of ingrained in your head. At least it is for me. And the cool part about it is the amount of thought that went into making these scenes. And let's see here. Let me see. And by the way, those shots are go motion shots. So the Tauntaun had a rod that went through the side of his body and down behind the camera and behind the puppet that you can't see. So as Phil Tippett animated it, the shutter was left open, so there was motion blur, which helps quite a lot to make these scenes look way more realistic than just simply stop motion, which has sharp defined edges, right? So Phil Tippett has all these notes just for these shots, and it's amazing how thorough he was in just, you know, putting it all together, including the ears. So let me see. Where's the one note that I want to tell you guys about? Okay, so yeah, right here it says, at leg down, no rebound into body, up and move whole backwards. I think he meant to say whole body up and move whole body backwards. So this little note here that he wrote is right at the end of this shot, this last stop motion shot, where the Tauntaun moves his whole body backwards with Luke. So I thought, how cool is that? That, you know, now you can see the thought process between these, behind these shots. So Shaky Cow says, crazy that 30 odd years later the same shot would cost millions, be completely CG, and look far worse. That's true. That's completely true. So let's see here. Let's go back here. So here are some close-ups of just, individual pages, and we can kind of examine these here. So he says, continue, break knee 1 to 2 frames on contact, leg but not always, arm flap in man, and erratic leg. Develop, what is this? Develop something more from something note 7. Is that, looks like talc, but I'm not sure what that is. Develop rider more, note number 7. More punch in redaction to leg, down and back. More punch on head and neck as it is thrust forward. Draws back sooner. So I think what this is here is he probably did a test shot, tried to see how it looked, and then off to the side here, he was making notes to see if those things worked, and he said good, and then he said accent more And then this one here, it says wrong. Postman, accent, man more, harder on impact, head out, apex of forehead, thrust. And then too much accent, he says here. So, obviously he's trying to refine things and really perfect his shot. And I guess they had the budget and time to do that. Now, this is before they had, digital pop-throughs where everything... Oh, tail, is that what it... That's probably what it is, Gabriel. Yeah, tail, that's it. So this is, before they had Dragon Stop Motion, and they had, Stop Motion Pro, and even the most basic ones, like the earlier Anasazi that, we offered on our site for free, which I think we still offer that. But frame grabbing was not where it is today, and so a lot of these notes were paramount, to anything else, because they didn't have the ability to go back, frame by frame and so forth. And yeah, digital programs make it so much more simple now. But yeah, just amazing. This is just some amazing stop motion history here. Let's see now. So I've got a ton of pictures of these puppets too. And here is... let's see if there's a better picture now. So this is one of the puppets that Phil Tippett had to work with. You can see it was actually a foam latex body. Now there's one of Han Solo that is unfinished. So you can see that what they did is they would cast in foam latex a sculpture, as you can see here. And actually, I'm not sure this is totally true, because foam latex is not usually tinted that color, but it could be that they put tints inside the latex to make it that color, more of a reddish fleshy tone. But then they would put clothing on there and try to add little props and things. So this was the Han Solo puppet. And so you can see how the Tauntauns look, the condition they're in today, which is actually not too bad considering their age. And these pictures here are several years old, but you can sort of see there's some damage under the jaw here, under the neck. But for the most part, these characters, or these puppets, are still intact. So here's the legs, and you can see how they sort of stitch things together underneath. I'm not really sure if they used some sort of like faux what do you call it, furry fabric, like something that you can get in a craft store, or if they punched these hairs, which I don't think they did. Here's the toes. So really neat. And then here is Phil Tippett. You can see him in front of the actual puppet. And this here would have been where, I don't know if... Yeah, I don't think Luke ever fell off of the Tauntaun like this. But maybe they did a shot where he did, where the Rancor knocks him over. Or not Rancor. What do you call him? The Wampa creature? I think that might be what it's called. So yeah, so there's actually more. There's actually more to it. You can see like several pages just of all these little notes. So rider with legs down, back bent slightly, 5 to 8 frames up, 2 to 3 down on rider. Rider kind of stands in the saddle on impact fair in rider's head. Coming down 3 to 4 frames. Anticipate Taun's actions with rider by 1 to 2 frames, not every cycle. Try a test. Rider straight plus out on something to lead is pushed back in saddle. So basically all these little notes. And there's one, let me see here. Where is it now? But he describes, you know, how you can't, maybe it's here. Well, anyway, yeah, these are some pretty awesome notes. Yeah, it was the Wampa, right? Am I right, Gabriel? I guess even Ron is like, Wampa. Yep. I don't know why I said Rancor, which he also made that too, but. So check this out. So here's the actual mold that they made of the Tauntaun. You can see some wet clay, water-based clay, which is being built up. And perhaps, yeah, see, I don't know about that hair. If those lines that we saw underneath were where they stitched something like a thin sheet of, you know, furry-based fabric over the legs. Or if they punched it and those lines were the seam lines here. You know, I'm not really sure. And here is a color photo of Phil as well. So one of these pictures is backwards, because the other one has the Tauntaun going from right to left. And this one has it left to right. So I'm not really sure which one is correct, but... And now here's another fascinating aspect to this sequence, which I never knew. I never knew that this was done this way. But what Phil did was he would pre-animate everything on paper. And I think that the way this might have been done was he probably animated this. And then in his moviola, I'm guessing he traced. And this is a rotoscoping of the animation. And he saw what worked and what didn't. And I believe this would be where he would alter the motion for the final take that he did. So, I mean, this is just, you know, I had no clue that he did it this way. So the amount of effort that went into the shot really speaks to why it turned out as amazing as it did. But you can see, you know, like the legs on Luke, how they move on there. And you can see, you know, the Tauntaun, each foot, how it, you know, swings forward and swings backwards, as well as the height of the rider on the back of the Tauntaun. So really just like, when I saw this, I thought, wow, this explains so much. So I'm not really sure if this is different from the other, but you can see also in the bottom where what Phil Tippett did is he had sketched the rear or the hind legs of like a dog or a deer running. You know, I'm not sure if this was like from a Muybridge book or something or what, but this is what he used also to make sure that the motion was a natural motion. So he learned, you know, he studied the other animals, anatomy. And let me see what else now. You can see that same sort of thing here, like maybe a horse, perhaps. And this is like a horse's legs, I guess. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Gabriel, that the moviola would have been used where you can go frame by frame. You can project onto a little screen the Tauntaun and trace it with this tracing paper, because, you know, why else would it be tracing paper, right? Because he's tracing something with it. Let me see. So here's the puppet again. And here's how the shot looked. Of course, we just watched. So where is... okay. There was one where you could see how he sketched. Here it is. Okay. Again, his anatomy experience to make these characters, this tauntaun, look natural. You can see how he tried to figure out how the bone structure would be inside there. And I believe that the reason why he did this is because from here he could figure out where the joints need to be placed for Tom Saint Demand, who was the armature maker for these puppets. So you can kind of see, roughly. Here's a more rough sketch. This one's a little bit more refined, where you can see a rib cage. And these are the 3 sketches side by side. And on one of these, I know he even has measurements. So you can see it's got like 6 5/8 here, so essentially a blueprint. And off to the side, you can see how he used a horse's leg as reference. So relationship of bones and horse, hind legs. And so he sketched it out exactly as a horse would be. And then straight across, if you draw, all these joints are represented. So to me, this is just, I don't know. I find it really, really exciting, but okay. It says here that this was sketched in 1978. Is that right? Wow. I suppose Empire was... When did that come out? I thought it was... Maybe 86 was Return of the Jedi, so... I'm not sure. Maybe 81 was when Empire came out? I might be wrong. I think I was wrong on my date. Alright, so what else now? Phil also sketched out... I guess this would have been like the Luke puppet. So he sketched it out, and I'm not really sure if this sketch would have been drawn to the size of the puppet, perhaps for ease of sculpting, for sculpting reasons. It's got a little gun there. Some more sketches. And then here are the actual, or not the actual sculpts, but the castings from the actual sculpt that still remain for these. And it appears like there are 2 different types of tauntaun heads. There's one with these kind of jowls on the side, and then one with a more, less jowly kind of face. So I don't know, maybe, why that is. Like maybe one of them didn't look correct on camera or something like that. And you can see a lot of detail in there, the wrinkles and everything. It looks really cool. So Ron says A New Hope came out in 77, and Gabriel says Jedi is 84, I think, and Shaky Cow says 1980. Not entirely sure, but you guys are probably closer than I am. So here's the reverse of the casting. So yeah, these are really nice, high quality pictures too that were posted on, or are shown on the prop store page. And then here, this is a casting of the actual puppet tauntaun. And so how they got a hard casting out, I'm not entirely sure, because if you guys recall, when I showed the sculpture before, if I can find it again, hopefully, let's see. I have so many pictures. I can't find it. But obviously this was sculpted in a soft clay and cast in a hard mold so that they could cast it in foam latex. So how they actually got this hard plastic resin casting, my guess would be that they would have molded one of the soft rubber casts and then used something like, silicone or urethane or something like that and then pulled out a hard cast. That would be my guess. Now, don't hold me to that because I don't know for sure, but that would make the most sense. So I know a lot of people have tried, or at least a few people have tried to reproduce these puppets, and they probably would have loved to have a photo collection like this. There's his butt. There's so much detail in there. Kind of a crazy tail. And the torso. So let's see. Randy Boyum says that Jedi was May 25th, 1983. Wow. Doesn't seem like it was that long ago. So what else did we have? I've got some more pictures that I want to share. I guess we've got about 8 or so minutes left, and the pictures I want to share are from, let's close some of these. Maybe close all of them. Oh, there was the mold. Oh, I closed it already. That's okay. Let's get rid of this. So these are some of the Empire Strikes Back drawings for the AT-ATs, and you can see some of the earlier designs. And I think Joe Johnston might have been the person to design these sketches here, or design these different. This would have been the AT-ST here. And a lot of these are based around Japanese mecha type animations that were created in those days. So you can kind of see the different variants and what they thought would look nice, and they ended up going with this head style, but it wasn't the only style. It was one of, I guess, at least 2 or 3. This one here looks like a different style. And so they have, scale. We got 30 feet tall, next to a 6-foot person. And there's some other designs for things like this, some sort of a ship, which I guess never made it into the final film. Here's the rear of it. They had some like antennas on top and stuff, and I think they probably went with the cleaner design for animation purposes to make it more simple. Where are all the photos? Well, these were sent to me. Some of these were, but some of these are things I found over the years. Sent to me by the prop store. They sent me like a Dropbox dump of images, high quality images. But if you want to find it, you can visit our website. Let's see, where are we here? Visit our main page, and it's the top news article right now, and there's a link right here, so you can click that, and it takes you to the auction, and there's lots of pictures here. So now these are not the only pictures. Here's a painted Draco head as well. You can see it. Pretty awesome. Other props. Here is a AT-AT that was just used in the background, for Empire Strikes Back. It doesn't actually move or anything. So some pictures there, and others. So let's see. So I guess if you go to, also if you guys want to type it in, it's at www.propstore.com. So that's where it is. And so here are the AT-ATs. You can see how those turned out. Obviously, I mean, most of us have seen this already. One of these here, I think, is the cardboard cutout. I think it's this one in the back, which does not move. But that's a forced perspective shot just to make things look like, there's depth to the scene when there's really not. So let me see, where's my folder here? Okay, so I think Okay, so this is one of the actual puppets, you know, the actual stop motion walkers. You can see lots and lots of details, so it's really just like, you know, they just don't make films quite like that anymore. You know, with amazing props like this. But there's just so much detail and so much talent that went into these. Okay, so what else did I have? So I don't know if you guys have all seen the animatics that Phil Tippett has done for Jurassic Park, and they are also auctioning off the prop Jeep that was used to pre-animate everything as animatics for the CG team that worked on the first Jurassic Park, which to this day is still one of the best CG films, I think, ever created with you know, dinosaurs. And then one of the tires. I'm trying to see if I have a picture of the shot that he did with that. Let's see. Ah, okay, here it is. So this is what the animatic actually looked like, and this T-Rex puppet here was used to attack the Jeep as if it were a live animal. And that was one of the things that Phil Tippett talked about in the behind-the-scenes version of Jurassic Park, if you watch the behind-the-scenes information. And also here is a cool shot where you can see Phil on the Tauntaun. Unfortunately, I don't have the picture that I'm looking for. But anyways, I guess that does wrap up our show. We've pretty much looked at all the pictures that I have that I thought were of interest, and I thought you guys might be interested as well. Now again, I will be posting a new 5-week challenge, I'm hoping probably tomorrow, if Zycura gets back to me soon enough. And yeah, so if you guys want to join in next week, we are going to work on our stop motion puppet, our mutated frog. And I guess I'll see you guys all next week. See you later.